This story is about finding friends, working with friends, and working with imperfect friends, which I think is something that we can all think about right now, is that we are not all going to be absolutely perfect as we walk through this world, and how we deal with those imperfections is what makes it okay or not okay. My name is Whitney Branan, she, her pronouns, and I am the director-choreographer of The Wizard of Oz. I remember watching this. I was alone a lot as a kid. I spent a lot of time kind of in my own imagination, and I spent a lot of time creating worlds, and I thought that maybe that wasn't normal or that I was weird, but I also watched The Wizard of Oz. I remember seeing Judy Garland by that fence singing Somewhere Over the Rainbow, and then when it goes to color and seeing all of these weird, wonderful, fabulous individuals that feel like they're missing something, like missing a heart, missing a brain, missing courage. And I remember the hits of visuals, the poppy fields, the yellow brick road. It's timeless, it's classic, and I remember feeling comforted. So I'm a member of SDC, which is the Stage Directors and Choreographers Society. And I'm very lucky that, because my home base right now is Memphis, and I have a house that is a couple minutes away from the theater. And I'm very lucky that Playhouse was so open and welcoming to that really cool part of my life where I joined the union. And not only brought me on and said, okay, we'll give you one, but they gave me 2 main stage shows this season, which I was so grateful for. And the only difference is that there are certain things that are security for me as the director. So, there are safety measures in place that the union asks the theater for, asks the producer for, especially during COVID. And Playhouse has been so on top of COVID safety protocol. It's easy for them. They don't have to make up some kind of grand new safety thing to bring me on because of the union. It's already in place. I remember being a choreographer and kind of getting established as a choreographer in New York, in Memphis, kind of regionally, internationally as well. And I knew that I wanted to direct because I wanted more voices in the room that weren't just the same people and voices that I saw and heard in rooms in positions of power. So I didn't know how to do that. I didn't have a manual on that. I had taken directing in college, but it doesn't tell you the business of that. So I literally went to every single female director in Memphis, and I asked them if I could record an interview with them. And I said, how do you do this? How do you break in? How do you do this? I took their advice. I started reaching out to different theaters, letting people know I was available. I hustled and I grit and grinded. I mean, I was working in different states, trying to just build a portfolio. And I remember getting offered my first directing job at Playhouse in an elevator at UPTA's. It was as simple as that. Jackie Nichols saw me in the elevator and goes, hey, you direct, right? Why don't you do this? And I said, yes, and it was in the elevator while everybody else was in there waiting to go up for their callbacks. So it's just talking to people, finding your way in the door, and then I think, hopefully, is why I've been asked back again and again, is to do good work and to lift people up with kindness, and to make sure that the audience, when they come and see a show at Playhouse, they walk away thinking, talking, and laughing, or crying, or whatever the appropriate emotion is, but the most important thing is that it changes them. The Wizard of Oz is such an important story to, general Americana, however, also specific communities. And how important this story is to the LGBTQIA community cannot be overstated. And I have to honor that. So there needs to be, a rainbow. There needs to be the tornado that happens, and how we create that on stage has to be smartly thought out and be recognizable, but has to have a bit of ingenuity to it that the audience sitting there goes, oh, I recognize this, but I haven't quite thought about it happening this way. So I'm paying a lot of attention to that tornado, seeing what my spin on it should be. I have my ideas, but I'm excited to talk and collaborate with the team on that because it shouldn't just be my voice, it should be our team. I think that as a director, my job is to bring in an initial framework and say, hey, how about this aesthetic? How about this idea? How about this take? And then let them run with it and let their imaginations go crazy. That cycle of, I present this framework, like here's the railroad track, or here's the road, here's the yellow brick road. Letting them go with it, come up with their own inspiration, hits, what they see, and then coming back to the same table and then shaping it. I think that is the formula that has been the most successful for me with collaboration. So this family show, it has to take care and consideration for the kids that see it, but also the adults that are with them, the guardians of these kids. I'm hoping that the kids will kind of have that feeling that I had when I was a kid watching it, and watch someone find the answers within themselves and work with other friends to overcome obstacles and realize that everything that they need, the answer is here the whole time. For the adults watching with them, this story really typifies community. Right now, we get more isolated and more isolated. Even though we're reaching out to technology to help us out, we get even further isolated and dehumanized. This story is about finding friends, working with friends, and working with imperfect friends, which I think is something that we can all think about right now, is that we are not all going to be absolutely perfect as we walk through this world, and how we deal with those imperfections is what makes it okay or not okay. It's about finding yourself, finding community, realizing that we have it within us, we have the capacity within us, with the help of our friends, to become stronger. So the most important thing is that everyone, families, kids, adults, they will all have a wonderful time and take something to heart from watching the show at Playhouse.